Living Heritage is designed to highlight, examine, and celebrate elements of the rich cultural heritage of St. Kitts and Nevis. Journey with us as we explore our distinct and immersive culture. Welcome to a life of pride in our past and confidence in our present and future. Welcome to Living Heritage. Welcome to Living Heritage, ICH documentary series of St. Kitts and Nevis. Today, we feature the ICH domain of knowledge and practice concerning nature and the universe. And today's element is bush medicine, that is, plants that can be used to cure various health ailments. Those of us in the older generation can recall drinking bush tea as more than a hot breakfast drink. Bush teas were given to us by our mothers and grandmothers for belly aches, menstrual and nervous system issues, or any type of physical complaint for that matter. Their uses could range from clearing up rashes to managing hypertension. Our forebears would go to the mountain or a nearby bushy area, look for the recommended type of bush, pick it, wash it, steep it in hot water, and give us to drink. Often it tasted terrible, but it worked. And how many of you remember getting a bush bath? This dealt with more than physical complaints. It balanced our emotional and mental well-being, for it was said to protect us from negative spirits. Where did this knowledge come from? You guessed it, back to the continent of Africa. The enslaved are thought to have brought the knowledge with them across the oceans to the Caribbean. Get into a comfortable seat and take the wisdom of our traditional knowledge bearer, Victoria Baucom-Berkley, as she tells us about her element, bush medicine.
My name is Victoria Baucom-Berkley, and I live on Riches of the Earth Organic Farm. And at our farm, we add value to all of the crops that we grow. As a child, I suffered from bronchitis, and my grandmother kept two plants, an aloe vera and a snake plant. The aloe vera, she made me drink the juice, which I hated, but it was good for my bronchitis. And the snake plant actually turns carbon dioxide into oxygen at night. So between those two plants, I was able to eventually overcome my bronchitis. Now, when I moved here to St. Kitts and Nevis, I met my husband, who's an herbalist. And he learned his knowledge from his step-grandmother, who's from Nevis. So I came here with some problems, health problems. I had disease, liver, and also all of these fibroids. The doctors in the U.S. had told me that I needed hysterectomy. So when I met my husband, he started me drinking all of these different teas. And in 2014, I went back to America to have a complete physical. And through the sonogram, ultrasound, I found out that my liver had become completely regenerated, completely restored. And all of my fibroids were gone. And when I got back to St. Kitts, I was telling my husband, look, these herbs are magnificent. We have to start marketing them. We have to tell the people about the wonderful herbs that we grow. That's a really interesting question, because I always wanted to know how my grandmother knows. Because, you know, she, in addition to the aloe vera and the snake plant, and I hated both of them, incidentally, because everybody else I knew had beautiful plants, and we were the only ones who had these ugly plants. So I didn't know what they were really doing for me as a youth, right? So I was wondering, how did my grandmother have this knowledge about the health benefits of these plants? Well, when I moved here, And I met my husband, and he started using these herbs on me, and it was working. I started doing my own research to see exactly where this knowledge comes from, because he learned his knowledge from his step-grandmother, who's from Nevis. So when I did my research, I found out that a lot of the enslaved people who were brought from Africa here, they brought that knowledge with them. Look, the Egyptians were using cannabis and all of these herbs for centuries ago. Now, a lot of times people try to make you believe that the herbal knowledge comes from Asia, but actually it came from Africa first, and then it migrated to these other countries, right? So our ancestors had this knowledge, and they brought it here to the Caribbean and as well as to America. First, I started with the teas. That was the easiest thing to make, the teas, right? And then as I started doing more research, I found out that there were other ways to extract those properties from the herbs, right? And that was used in making tinctures or glycerides. So the tinctures, you actually use alcohol, and you soak the herbs in the alcohol for maybe a month or so, right? And then after that, you strain it, and then you put them in these little dark bottles, right? So that the sun will not dry them or distort interfere with the properties. And you put you put a drop of this under your tongue, and it goes directly into your bloodstream. And let me tell you, I have found so many people now have come back, men who have erectile dysfunction. We have herbs tinctures with the Man Better Man, the Touch Me Not, the stinging nettle that we use for people who have that problem, right? People who have kidney stones. We use the leaf of life tincture for that. Men who might have prostate problems, we use our stinging nettle for that, right? And now what I'm doing, I finally got me my glycerin, our vegetable glycerin, and because some of the women, they can't actually handle the alcohol. Although with the alcohol base, that can last for up to 10 years. And it can extract up to 90 to 95% of the properties from that herb. That's how powerful it is, right? Now, I tell some people if they that what you do, if you cannot put it under your tongue because of the alcohol, you can then place it in your tea and let it sit for 15 minutes. And that helps evaporate about 40% of the alcohol. So therefore, you're not tasting the alcohol. But at the same time, some people still can't handle the alcohol. So then I use it with glycerin. The glycerin is only about 55%, extracts about 55% of the property, but it's milder. And so children can also do it. So that's why I do the thing like the moringa. I put that with the glycerin. And then the children who need that extra boost at the moringa, because it has so many vitamins and minerals in it, that it's very good for children as well as for adults as well, right? And now also what I'm doing, the cactus, that sweet, y'all call it yes, that cactus is so powerful. It lowers your cholesterol, it helps cancer cells. If you even have hangovers, the cactus will help you get over your hangover. And it is loaded with all kind of like potassium, magnesium, omega-3, zinc, all kind of stuff, right? So what I do now is I pair that with my noonie and I make a lather with it. Also, people who have like problems with hypertension, I make a drink with it now, and I use that myself because I'm trying not to always be dependent on pharmaceuticals, and especially if we have some natural remedies. Now, I'm not telling anybody to get off their medicines. What I am saying, though, is that we do have some alternative remedies in the event that you don't want to stay on medicine forever, because sometimes the medicine might destroy other organs in the body. And so we don't want that to happen. Now, some of these things you can still take with your medicine until you start seeing the results. If you like, for example, with the prickly pear and the garlic, that's a drink that I make, right? And if you're taking your medication for hypertension, after a while you'll start noticing that your levels are getting lower and lower and lower. And then at some point you could say, well, you know, I'm going to take a half a pill as opposed to the whole pill, right? So I'm not saying that we're trying to replace your prescription. I'm just saying, though, that we do have alternatives. One tea called the aromatic detox. That one is the most powerful tea I think you could ever find. In fact, even though it's a little bitter because of the neem in it, it is the most popular tea. Even though people say they don't like bitter, they all come back after they see how that helps them so much. So now, what I tell people who have fibroids, you drink your aromatic detox, but then another thing that you should do, and I encourage people to do, is go to Nevis and sit in that hot bath, because that also helps to melt those fibroids. So by drinking the tea and then sitting in your hot bath, you don't have to go to have an operation. That will take care of those fibroids. But a lot of people, they might just drink the tea, but they don't want to go to Nevis and do the other part. And so sometimes you have to have a combination in order for things to work. My favorite is neem. I love neem, even though it's bitter. I didn't like it at first, but I love neem, right? I love it, and I drink it bitter and everything. Neem is a blood purifier. So it helps purify your blood. So therefore, when your blood is sending the blood to your different organs, this neem is purifying it. So instead of have toxins being carried into your blood, to your organs, the neem is removing the toxins and actually purifying it so that your organs are receiving good nutritional value versus the toxin. Another thing about neem is great to remove all kind of health problems that you have. Let's say if you have a cold, you can also use it to gargle your throat, and I should have done that this morning. I did drink some though, for if you have a sore throat. Another thing about neem that's so wonderful, it's also great as a pesticide. So you use that for the pest that comes on your plant. It's also good as a fertilizer. It's great. It's a good nitrogen source for your plants. So if you have plants that have a lot of leaves, the neem is great for that. So neem is just my favorite. Then we have other plants. I also deal with a lot of the fruits. The noonie. That noonie is, although a lot of people don't like it because of the smell, the health benefits of that noonie is absolutely fantastic. And the people in Hawaii, they use that noonie for almost everything. They've been using it for thousands of years for the health benefits. So from the noonie, my husband makes an ointment, a noonie ointment for pain. Also, one of our clients was using the noonie, and by her putting her finger into the noonie jar, she had a fungus on her fingernails, and it removed the fungus from her nails. So I had a fungus on my big toe, and I started putting the noonie on my big toe, and sure enough, it removed the fungus. Now, with that same noonie, I make a noonie leather. I dehydrate it. I remove the moisture from it, and it actually becomes leathery. And you eat it, and you don't smell it anymore. And what it does, it actually helps, and they've done research on this as well, that it helps relieve pain. So the noonie ointment, I tell people you use that externally, and the noonie leather, you use it internally. And not only does it that, it helps, it gives you energy. It helps you with so many things. If for your bowel movement, if you have constipation, it just really takes care of that. So the noonie is a very powerful.
We'll be right back with more from Mrs. Victoria Baucom-Berkley after these ads.
Check on your batteries. Check. Emergency center. Check. Store up your water. Check. And board up your window. Check. So you got to place it. Check. Before it is too late. Disaster could happen anytime, any place. Check on your elders. Check. And your insurance. Check. Secure the animals. Check. Tie down the gas tank. Check. Don't intoxicate. You got to play it safe. Disaster could happen anytime, any place.
For more information, contact your National Emergency Center today. Before the storm, stock up on perishable foods to last at least 24 hours. Secure important documents. Full up on gasoline. Remove boats and fishing pots from the water. During the storm, unplug electrical appliances. Do not go outside. Listen to your radio station. After the storm, do not go sightseeing. Make sure the entire family is okay and assess and photograph all damages.
Check on your batteries. Emergency center. Store up your water. And board up your window. So you got to place it before it is too late. Disaster could happen anytime, any place.
Living Heritage continues as Mrs. Victoria Baucom-Berkley tells us more.
The name of our farm is Riches of the Earth Organic Farm, and we're located in Halfway Tree. And from our farm, you can see a panoramic view of the Caribbean Ocean. You can see Mount Lyamega. You see Brimstone Hill. You can look up and see the rainforest. And then it's when you're there, you might think that you're up in the mountain, but actually you're only a couple of feet from the main road. So when you come to our farm, a lot of people tell us this reminds them of when they were young, when we used to have fruit trees everywhere. And they could just go to the fruit trees and eat or sit down under a tree and just enjoy the cool. Well, when you come to our farm, you feel that. You sit down and we have an area where we have our guests come, and if they want to have something to eat, or if you just want to sit back and just relax, or sometimes we may even have classes. We had like the backyard farmers come up, and we give them little tips on what we do organically for our crops, right? And then with our farm, you have down below, you have the your crops. And then up above is where you have all your fruit trees. And so right now, everything is coming and, are harvesting. My husband just showed me these beautiful red cherry nuts. And I told him what I want to start doing is roasting those cashews, because I love cashews, but I've never done the roasting of the cashews. So I want to start doing that as well, right? And he makes a wonderful drink from that cherry nut. We have our gooseberries. With the gooseberries, you actually can use that into your hair products. Very good for hair. And of course, our tamarind. With the tamarind and the gooseberry, we make a cough syrup with that, right? Another thing that I'm starting to do, I'm taking classes on how to use plant material to make skincare. So right now, what I'm focusing on is learning how to do like lotions, but in a bar. Because shipping is always a problem for people who want our products, because you can't mail liquids and things like that, right? So I'm learning how to make those into bars. So you can get our lotion into a bar. What you do, it's a little round bar, right? And you rub it in your hand, and then the temperature of your hand will actually soften it up so that you can then start rubbing the bar all on the area, right? So I'm doing the one with the bar, and then I'm also learning how to do one for the face. See, another thing people don't understand, for your face, you don't want to really be putting essential oils on your face, because the essential oils are very potent. So they have other things, extracts and hydrosols that you can use on your face, so that you don't have to worry about any type of chemical reaction. So those are things. And what I'm doing is I'm using our herbs as the base for the skincare products that I'm learning to make. The major challenge that I have found is, how do I ship this to other places, right? And especially because of the limitations we have with our mailing system. I don't know why in America you can mail liquids, but from St. Kitts you can't mail liquids, right? And if you gotta try to mail it through a Amerijet, that gets kind of expensive, right? So that's why I said now, with the leather, with the noonie leather and the cactus leather, I can mail it. I can put it right in the mail, right? The same with my bars that I'm now doing. You can put it in the mail. So I'm trying to overcome. Every time we get obstacles, I always try to find solutions to it. I'm not going to try to let it keep my business down because of these obstacles. I then find a way that we got to get around this. And so that's what we're doing right now. Well, actually, I have several times with culture. We've had the intangible cultural heritage programs where we've had children, and I have shared this information with our children on how they could, maybe with the noonie leaf, they could make a poultice with that, So if you got rash or something wrong with your skin, you can make a poultice with it. I shared them with the neem, how you can, even for your dog, if you have a dog or a cat, but I don't have a cat, but with our dogs, with the neem, you spray the neem on it. If they have problems with ticks or different things or itching, you just make a spray with it and put it on the dog, and that relieves your dogs, your animals. So yes, I share this information because it's very important for us to pass it on to the next generation. Absolutely. I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in small businesses because I was always taught that small businesses are the engine that really runs the country, right? So, of course, you can make a living. Now, the problem what might be is when you're getting started. You have to have the determination, the perseverance, the desire, and the passion to do it, because it's not going to be easy, but it can be done. Now, as I said, even being here and finding out that, it's harder to get certain things that you need for your products and things like that, I just try to get around it, and if I can't make something at this particular time, I'll just go to plan B until I can get around back to plan B of a product that I want to make. Now, it's not going to be easy. This is a small country, and as a result, you don't have a lot of options in terms of your clientele. So you have to go out and find other clients or people who want your products, right? And I think because I'm an American, I'm a Caucasian too now, but being an American, I have a little advantage because I have clients over in America, and they also tell other people about it, right? And then I go out. I go to these different countries, around here, to also get clientele, right? So you have to be willing to get off your comfort base, and just be aggressive and do what you need to do. But if you have passion for it, it will be done. As long as you can have something that at night keeps you awake because you're thinking about it, it can be done. I'm sure our cameraman right here will tell us that. He had to have passion for what he's doing, and that's why he's successful. He has book clientele because he's successful. So that just shows you it can be done.
We hope you picked up quite a few health tips from our traditional knowledge bearer, Victoria Baucom-Berkley, as she told us about her element, bush medicine. Go visit Riches of the Earth. Along with her partner, they will both be happy to assist you. And don't forget to like and subscribe our pages and channel. That's Facebook at SKNICH or ICHSKN, YouTube at St. Kitts Culture, and X or Twitter at St. Kitts Culture. Join us again next time, because together we can safeguard our heritage.